So what's cooler? Boban, Alice Cooper, Nick Johnson, Caleb Tarzuski. I mean, that's a lot. That's a lot for one day. I might be missing a few. So, huh? Kenny Lofton. Yeah, no, I did see him up there. I didn't know he was going to be here. He's a great dude. Hey, gritty win by our guys. We knew it was going to be tough. Obviously, we're going through it with injuries right now, and it's just that point of the season where sometimes you hit a little struggle, and if you don't embrace it, you're not built for it. So our guys have done a good job embracing it, and I thought there was good wherewithal and just finding a way today. I knew it wasn't going to be, aesthetically pleasing every second of the game, but to be able to kind of control the game later in that second half, and wish we'd have closed it out a little bit better. But if you watch college basketball, it seems to be a theme. But to withstand a player like AJ, having 35 points easy, and come out on top, was a great effort by our guys.
You kept saying that Delhi's time was coming. How important was it for him to have a performance like tonight, given the injuries?
Well, it's extremely important. I'd always kept telling you guys. I mean, I'm no panic. I think Delhi's gonna, he's gonna be ready to deliver when we need him most. And obviously, I couldn't have predicted that 2 or 3 weeks ago, but today there was a significant need, and he stepped up. And I want to give Braden a lot of credit. Braden's not feeling well. And he's going to be fine, but he really battled, through that game, and it's been a tough couple days for him. So, to have that kind of competitive character to, come out and play for your team when you're not feeling great says a lot about Braden as a competitor and a person.
He said something like, I think, that he same approach tonight. But I was wondering, do you feel like in the back of his mind, or maybe a guy like Yvonne adds a little sense of urgency when they know what's going on, that you guys need more from them?
Well, for sure. I mean, they want to win, and they're competitors, and they're good players. And, when you play with a lot of good players, you have to leave space for everybody to be good. And sometimes now when there's fewer players, there's more space and more opportunities. And I think those guys just stepped into those roles naturally. And our guys really trust those guys. So yeah, no, it was great. Yvonne, has a quiet 18, and is really efficient and plays some great defense. So, it was a big-time effort by him as well.
Do you guys think you could have done anything differently when it came to guarding A.J. Devontae?
Yeah, maybe. I mean, you could double more. You could do things like that, But, we doubled him, some at their place, and they kind of, came back with some threes and stuff. They did a good job on that. So, our intent wasn't to give him easy baskets. We probably could have done a better job deeper in some of his penetration, just having a body between him and the basket. But he also, we wanted him to make a lot of shots, like we forced him to make shots over bodies, and he made a lot of them tonight. But, fortunately for us, in that second half, I felt like we had enough of a lead if we just stayed steady and kind of hopefully took care of the ball, which we always didn't do, and guard the three-point line, which we always didn't do, that we had enough to kind of weather a comeback storm.
Performance, considering that he played 15 minutes in Big 12 play?
It was awesome. You guys, I told you a while ago, I'd really challenged Sidi, to be ready in 4 weeks to help the team, and it probably went a little longer than 4 weeks, but he got an opportunity because an opportunity, arose, and it was great. It was great. Sidi did a great job, and our guys, they practice with him every day, and they know how he can impact the game around the rim and how he can catch lobs and such. So yeah, I was really happy for Sidi, and I thought, that was really kind of a shot in the arm for the crowd and for our team.
Was it such that if and when you get to full strength, that he could be more of a factor?
I mean, have you been hanging out with Bruce? You're asking me really hypothetical questions here. We'll see. We'll see. I mean, listen, Sidi not getting the playing time maybe that who he wishes he got, or, people you guys want to speculate he should be getting. It's not an indictment on him as a player. Those other three guys are really good. And I wanted to make sure those guys were in a groove. But you know what? Where Sidi gets a ton of credit is, when he wasn't getting the minutes, he's kept getting better. And he's kept getting better. He's getting stronger. And, he's kind of growing into his own. So, that to me, what he did today is even more impressive, considering that he got himself ready for this moment while maybe not getting to audition for it too much.
He was huddled up for a little bit longer than normal on the court after the game. Just, after a tough emotional week, how big is a win like this?
Well, I wouldn't give us that much credit. I would say that was TV. We were waiting for TV, so that's why we were stuck out there. Trust me, I wish I was back in the locker room. Yeah, no, this was a program win today. And, and what you mean by that is, we knew it was an important game for the journey, we want to be on. And we wanted to get back on the winning side of things and do the winning things. I think, we really challenged everybody in our program, from the staff to the managers, to the walk-on practice type players, to the guys that were injured, and to the players on the court. Like, let's step up and find a way and do this together. We don't need a script. We just need to go out, and we need to go out, possession by possession and find a way. And that's what they did today.
What do you make of the rash of injuries that seems to have hit the league and maybe even some other teams in the country?
It's a great question. I don't know. There's probably lots of conversations we could have on the side about the reasons why, but it would all be guessing and speculation. But it's maybe something that we all got to look into. It's interesting that they're all kind of happening in this same window for sure.
The three-point shooting, 9 for 21, pretty nice night.
Yeah, I thought that, I felt that we needed to shoot a few threes. I know you guys think I'm anti-3, and that's fine. I'll wear that. But I felt like we got some good looks, especially in the first half. I thought in the second half we should have taken a few more. It's hard for me when I look at that number, and I see more 3-point attempts than free throw attempts. But that's what the game called for, and luckily, we knocked down 9 of them, and that went a long way to helping us win.
Assume teams are going to double Mo from the beginning of the games down. So how do you kind of think he's
I don't know. Honestly, he's been doubled here and there, but this was the most consistently he's been doubled in one game, and I think those are great reps for him. Great reps for him to learn. I coached a really good big guy back in the day by the name of Sabonis, and his dad happened to be a good player with the same last name. And his dad used to always say, if you're a big guy and they don't double team you, you should be embarrassed. And, you should be demanding double teams as a big guy and welcome them and then cut them up. If they don't double team you, they're not respecting you. So it'd be cool to see if Mo can kind of grow in that role.
The week like leading up to this, do you have a lot of individual meetings with guys like Sidi or Evan and say this is it, or does it go unspoken?
We had conversations for sure, but it wasn't anything, the house wasn't on fire, so we met, and because obviously we had to kind of get our collective thoughts together to figure out efficiently, what we wanted to do, and if we wanted to, play different lineups, have a different rotation, look at some different actions at both ends of the floor. We wanted to make sure we were efficient and we weren't just, spraying darts.
Evan Nelson, it's only 3.5 minutes, but he kept it pretty clean.
Yeah, Evan played great. He probably could have got another run. It's just how we were managing the game in the second half. He didn't get one, and Evan's been practicing really well, and Evan's he's a real classy guy. And I think he's going to get a few more opportunities here in the next week or so, and I'm sure he'll take advantage of them.
How would you assess the press break operation for you guys?
Yeah, it could be better. It could be better. It's just, it's so interesting at the end of these games. Watching a lot of these college games, and it just seems like it's not as clean as it could be. And as a coach, it's tough because you want to call timeouts and do that, but you have a limited number of timeouts, and you need to save a timeout for a challenge at the end of the game. So sometimes, when you're up 7 or 8, you're just, trusting your guys can get through it. And so we can clean that up. We can be better. We have good enough players to do that, and we need to obviously make that more of a priority. But I know this. Every basketball fan thinks their team is the only team in the world that struggles at the end of the game versus press. Okay, welcome to every college basketball program in the country. Okay, so that's just kind of what it is. And I was watching a game last night, between two teams we know well, Arizona State and Texas Tech. Both of them struggled against the press. So it's just kind of how it goes sometimes, when you can, especially, the thing I don't know if you guys factor in, if you can press and you only have 2 or 3 team fouls and you can attack the ball and it's your ball on a jump, think how aggressive you can be. You can be super aggressive and there's no repercussions. So, it's tough. It's tough sometimes. And, you would hope that, when you're sitting in my seat that the ref just blows his whistle, but then you blow your whistle and you're like, oh my God, it's only 3 team fouls. We got to do this 3 more times. So it just gets tough. If teams have lots of chances to basically blitz and attack you, without any repercussion, yeah, it can be tough. But we figured it out there a little bit towards the end, but I'm sure there's going to be, some great learning opportunities.
Houston is the one venue you haven't been to yet in the Big 12, first place matchup, all that. I know you don't look ahead, but that is now the next game. I mean, just what have you seen looking at Houston in games that maybe makes them different from previous?
I mean, I don't know if there's anything different. I mean, they have an amazing identity, and they're committed to their values, as much as anybody. I'm sure their venue's great, but you could play them on a playground, and I'm sure it'd be the same game. Like I said, they do what they do, and they do it really, really, really well, and it's impressive. So we have an incredible challenge on Saturday. But these are the games we want to play in. We want to play in. I mean, I don't care who shows up. We're just gonna have 5 guys put on our uniform. We got to go to battle. We got to go to battle, and we got to make it a ball game in their building, and see if we can figure out a way to win a game like that at the end.
I figure it might be even more tough with Houston coming off that tough loss and them having a couple extra days, that kind of stuff.
I mean, sure, but it's how it breaks. We've had that break in the season too, and it's there's no complaints from me. We played BYU on Wednesday. They scheduled Houston on Saturday. Well, we got 2 days to get ready for it.
Crowd, and then you did it not too long after that. Just how important the atmosphere was at McKale, and kind of what you made of the.
Yeah, I mean, I think our fans underestimate their impact on the game. I really do, and we have great fans. Moments like this, you need to galvanize behind the team, and you need to pull them through. You don't need to wait for them to excite you. You need to do things to try to energize them. You got to be proactive as a fan, and we have great fans, and they love basketball, and they've been showing up every game. They're awesome, but right now, we need them to dig a little deeper to help us dig a little deeper. And today they did. I thought they did a great job today, and key moments in that game of really helping us, pull through.
What's the biggest positive you saw from your team tonight, heading into the game like Houston, especially after a week?
I mean, the biggest positive is we found a way to win that might not be the normal way we play, and we got comfortable in more of a possession by possession game, and it didn't always feel right and feel normal, but for long stretches of that game, it was really effective. So to me, that's a positive, as we can, continue to build over the course of the season. Finding multiple ways to win games is a great attribute for a team.
Koa and/or Dwayne make the trip? Do you know yet?
I mean, I don't know. I would assume so. I haven't been told otherwise.
So could Dwayne play? I don't know what.
I don't know exactly what the timeline is on his deal. I don't think it's anything crazy long. I mean, I'm letting J-Rock handle that, and the same with Koa. I'm sure they'll reevaluate him, when we get back from this trip. But I'm not anticipating any lengthy type, on the sideline type deal.
So Koa's reevaluating after. That means Baylor. You're not expecting him for Baylor then?
I'm not going there. I don't know. I mean, he's probably not playing Saturday. I'll go that far, and we'll see, how it progresses. It's one of those things. I don't think it's anything, serious or season ending. So.
When you have a guy like Koa, I mean, played in a high school playoff game with a broken hand and all that, how do you balance, I know you want to get out there, but at the same time, you got to kind of step back and get fully healthy and all that?
Yeah, I mean, the hand injury, he was literally staring down a couple games at the end for a 4th state championship, so he was able to get through it. There's a little longer runway, so we just have to manage it with care and make sure, we obviously, we have big dreams too. Big dreams when we get to the postseason, and he's a big part of it. So we just want to do everything we can in our power to make sure that he's at 100% come that time.
Whenever you guys have TV interviews after the game, it seems like the whole team gathers around. Have you noticed that, and what do you make of that?
I mean, usually I'm in the locker room relaxing, decompressing, but I was out there this time. Well, it's a connected group, and I think it's trending because I mean Oklahoma City started that, and so these kids all see it and they kind of follow it. But I think it's also a great sign of cohesion and togetherness and supporting each other. Where we're all in this together, and I love it. I love it when you're doing that rather than singling out one person.
Houston, do you see Kelvin said something about we're poor? like in this day and age of rev share and all that stuff. Like, what did you make of that?
Didn't make anything of it. I mean, Kelvin can say whatever he wants to say. I don't look at their financials.
Well, he's basically saying he's going to have trouble keeping recruiting high-level players. I don't know if you feel like it could come to that for some of these.
You know what?
programs.
Kelvin can say that, but that guy is such a good coach. He can win with anybody. Maybe you, Bruce. Maybe you. Thanks, guys.